One last thing to tidy up our application that we should do is to secure our publish functions. Notice over on the right that I'm not logged in, so I've actually logged out of the app, but I'm still able to see all the users in the system. And if we click on these users, I can see their tasks. And so what we want to be able to do is to say if we're not logged in, then this data shouldn't be published to the client. Another thing to keep in mind when you're planning data in your own applications is that you should treat the publish functions and your user interface separately. So anyone can always go into the console and subscribe to any publish function they think exists. So you should really take care to secure these publish functions independent of whatever conditional logic you have in your user interface. So let me show you how to do this. In each of our publish functions, we can just check whether or not there's no user ID. And if there isn't, we can just return. Now there's a problem with this, which we're going to fix, but let me show you in the DDP socket tab what this looks like. Let me refresh just to make sure that we get the latest stuff. Now look at the DDP messages, and if we look at the subscription request, this is us making a request to the server to subscribe. And if you look down, there's a bunch of ready messages that get sent back for each of the subscriptions to indicate that the sub is ready. It's also what allows us to call the callback function when we subscribe to a publish function. But there is no ready message that gets sent down for this to-do subscription. And that's because we've just returned here, but never actually sent any ready message. That happens automatically when you return a cursor. And this will rear its head if you use the Spiderable package for SEO or server-side rendering. So it relies on all the publish functions sending their ready messages before it renders out the page. So make sure that instead of just returning, we send the ready message by calling the ready method like this, and we can just return that. That's okay. And before we go update the rest of the publish functions, let's make sure that this worked. So verify that a ready message gets sent for this subscription, so the one with the ID of RQ, and look down for a ready message, and there it is, the ready message. So we're good to go with this technique, and I'm just going to copy that into each one of these publish functions, so that each one depends on the user being logged in. And I'll just put a space here so that it's easier to see. Okay, so what will happen here is that no data gets published if you're not logged in, but we still have a user interface. Now what Meteor does is when you log in or log out, it automatically reruns all the subscriptions and publish functions. So even though we're already subscribed to these publish functions, if I log in, they all rerun. So I'll log in with my user account, and you'll see the user interface update automatically with my to-dos and the different users in the account. And if you look at the WebSockets tab, you'll see that all the subscriptions have rerun. So you always want to make sure that you go through your publish functions and make sure they're secure, even if you're not showing that data in the user interface.